Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's been a heck of a week. We've done a lot of cool, fun stuff. We did a little loot report. We got to bust open some booster packs for the quarter century bonanza. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys a type of Egyptian god deck. We're going to call it the Numeron God. And it's actually going to be played based off of my favorite god card. As you guys could tell, if we go into the top of the play mat, you'll see that that's actually Obelisk. It's not just a big blue stain on the mat. That is Obelisk the Tormentor. So that's my favorite. And we're going to give you guys a 40-card deck. Technically, it's going to be a 14-card extra deck, and that's because my super rare copies of Egyptian God Slime just haven't arrived yet. If you guys are looking to buy them because like they, got damaged like mine did way back when, or you're just looking to build this deck for the first time, go with the super rares. They're like less than $1 for the whole play set. It's going to cost you like maybe $2-3 for the entire order with the shipping. So like, beautiful. All right, let's get you guys the deck list. First and foremost, we need a God card if this is going to be the Numeron God. So I'm going with 3 copies, and I threw that a little high, didn't I? We're going to go with 3 copies Obelisk the Tormentor, and we went with this amazing jump promo illustration. This is actually from the Prismatic Tins from the 2019 set. These require, again, like normal, 3 tributes. The normal summon may not be set. This normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summoned cards and effects cannot be activated in response. Neither player, and this is important, this gets caught a bunch. Some people think this is part of the summoning effect. This is separate. Neither player can target this card with card effects. This is one of the reasons why Obelisk was always the toughest of the 3 god cards. Obviously, Raw had to have an entire set and a bunch of support in order to be playable. Slifer probably the most played after the starter decks, actually. Anyway, once per turn during the neither player can target this. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the discard pile. You can tribute 2 monsters, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. This card cannot declare an attack the turn that effect is activated. This guy is a healthy 4,000 by 4,000. And is one of our win conditions today. So that's good. Up next, we're going to be grabbing the Raw's Disciples. And again, if you guys watch the show and stuff, like this is very cool cards, very thematic. The way that this works, when this card is summoned, you get to special summon up to 2 more from the hand and or deck. May not be tributed except for the tribute summon of one of the Egyptian God cards. And you cannot special summon any monsters except by the effect of Raw's Disciple while this is face up. So while this is really funny in other tech decks, this is usable here to make sure that we get enough bodies on board to get over our card. Next thing we're going to want to play is 3 copies of Guardian Slime. Again, it's one of those like legendary duelists. I think this came out during the Rage of Raw as well. If you take battle or effect damage, you may special summon this from the hand. It is a 10-star, so that is going to come into play here in a bit. During damage calculation, if this battles an opponent's monster as a quick effect, you make this gain defense equal to that monster's original attack, or that monster's attack during damage calculation. So once it will just perfect guard. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can add 1 spell or trap that specifically lists the Winged Dragon of Raw in its text. Each of these effects is once per turn. Again, it's going to be a big body. It's going to help us get into the God Slime and just pulls off some plays. Next, we're going to use the Reactor Slimes. You're going to grab 3 copies of this guy. Let's get a little focus, please. I'll start reading and it'll focus after I start. During the main phase, you can activate this effect, special summon 2 slime tokens. Also, you're not normal or special for the remainder of the turn except Divine Beasts. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you may tribute this card to set 1 Metal Reflect Slime from the hand, deck, or graveyard. And it can be activated this turn. Each of these effects is once per turn. So again, this will help you do some stuff, even if you're doing it unorthodox. Now, it will not be a Numeron deck if you're not playing 3 copies of Wall. Obviously, this is where the Numeron portion of the Numeron God comes in. If you control no cards except a copy or copies of this card, as a quick effect, you may send this from the hand or hand or field to the grave to activate a Numeron network directly from the hand or deck. You can only use this effect once per turn, and additionally, when you take battle damage, you may special summon this. If you do, end the battle phase after the damage step, so it can work as a not exactly as good as the battle fader, but by boarding itself, ending the battle phase, and being able to send itself at the start of the next turn to set up into the plays, it's good enough. So there's our monster lineup. Moving into spells, and again, we're going to have a bunch of these. We're going to be playing 2 copies of Fist of Fate. So this is one of the quick plays out of the Obelisk starter deck. The activation and effect cannot be negated. If you control a monster whose original name is Obelisk the Tormentor, negate the effects of one effect monster the opponent controls. If you do, destroy it, and if you do that, for the remainder of the turn, the effects of that monster are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. Then if you activated this during your own main phase, you get the following effect: to destroy all spell traps the opponent currently controls. So what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that we're not facing any type of back row. And we're just going to be able to go ahead and wipe. This is also going to let us go ahead and take care of like spot destruction during our opponent's turn by being able to respond at quick play speeds. So again, we're just going to run 2. 3, again, for like a once per turn card seems too many. A card I shouldn't have to explain. We've got 2 copies of Droplet in here. Again, anytime you can stun the opponent is good. Another good one, Feather Duster. Again, we don't want to see the back row. We just want to make sure that Obelisk or the Numerons can do their job. In that same vein, we're also going to be running 2 copies of Lightning Storm. Again, this is also going to be able to destroy monsters. So if you do have like a attack direct strategy with like Obelisk, we can go with that, especially if you've already used a Feather Duster or something. Next one, kind of different, but definitely worth playing. We're going to run 2 copies Memories of Hope. So the spell card allows you to draw cards equal to the number of Xyz monsters on your side of the field with different names. You can only activate 1 of these per turn, but since the Numerons are famous for spamming 4 names immediately, this is a draw 4. So I don't know, if you're not drawing 4, I don't know what you're doing. Up next, we have a single copy Monster Reborn. If you guys don't like this one, you guys could toss it. Honestly, does really well. 1 copy Mound of the Bound Creator, and I should probably actually go over this. This is going to give us a little bit of protections for our God card, and indirectly also the Guardian Slime and the Egyptian God Slime as well. Level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So again, this takes Obelisk's no target and just makes it better. So like he can't be destroyed by card effect either. It means battle or tributing him out would be the only 2 optionable ways of getting rid of him. If a level 10 or higher on the field destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controlled the destroyed monster takes 1,000. So even if we're punching through walls, we're still going to deal damage. And when this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, we can go ahead and tutor 1 divine monster from the deck to the hand, so this actually will search Obelisk for us. Again, just 1, it's kind of silly, but we are playing the rest of the Numeron bit. So there's that. So we're going to have 2 copies of Calling. If Network is on Field Zone, you control no monsters, special summon those 4 gates out of your extra deck with different names, banish them during the end phase, with only 1 additional normal or special summon before the end of that round. Again, since you're going to put up 4 bodies, you could go into an Obelisk afterward, or you guys can see what I got in my extra deck in a minute. That's actually going to be very useful. We are going to run 3 of the Network. This is the main field spell for the Numeron bits. During the main phase, you can send 1 Numeron normal spell card that meets its activation conditions from the deck to the graveyard. Calling. This card's effect becomes that card's effect. You can only use this once per turn, and Numeron Xyz monsters you control can activate effects without detaching materials. This is very important since we're going to be special summoning 4 of them. They're not going to have materials under them because of the way they're played. This will ensure that we can go ahead and use their effects. Next up, and another card from the Egyptian God starters, is Soul Crossing. They actually released this in both starter decks. So it didn't matter if you bought Obelisk or you were Team Slifer. you got yourself a playset of these if you bought 3 decks. I did a spotlight on this a long time ago because this is kind of confusing to some people. The way this works, on quick play speed during the main phase, does not matter, it could be the opponent's main phase. Immediately after this card resolves, tribute summon 1 Divine Beast monster. So you are going to do a tribute summon as soon as this resolves. Yes, you do it during your opponent's turn. Yes, this is sort of like double summon because it is this card effect telling you to do it. So don't worry about that. When you do, you can tribute a monster or monsters the opponent controls. So we can tribute all 3 from our opponent's side, let them build a board, break the board by tributing it out, and get your God card. The last portion of this, after the dot, until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you can only activate 1 card or effect per turn, not counting the effects of Divine Beast monsters. And again, the reason that they state it that way is probably actually for Slifer with the second mouth attack skill. This way, it's not just like the first time your opponent's monster gets summoned. This way, it could break any special summons that happen as well. Moving towards the end, finally, we get the 1 copy terraforming. Again, this is going to allow us to select whether or not we need to get to the network, or if we've gone into the God mode, we can go for the mound. We're also going to play from the Mega Pack 2022, the Breaking Ruin God, and we're going to play 2 copies of this card. Again, on quick play speed, the activation of this card or its effects cannot be negated, nor can its effects be negated. Special summon 1 obelisk from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, it is unaffected by opponent card effects this turn. You can tribute 2 or more monsters you control at the same time to activate your card. If you tribute 2 or more monsters you control at the same time to activate a card or effect while you control obelisk, you may banish this in the graveyard and additionally banish all monsters in your opponent's graveyard. If you do banish them, your opponent will take 500 points per card you banished. You can only activate each of these effects once per turn. So again, it's good. It has a little bit of like extra game punch. It's quick play, so if you need to go ahead and extend your attacks during your own battle phase, this is a good way at cycling another obelisk on the field. And unluckily for obelisk, he will have to go back to the discard pile because he was special summoned. So there's that. Rounding up to the next 2 cards, we're going to have 2 copies of Talent. And thanks to Phil, we're actually going to have a copy of Triple Tactics Thrust as well. And this is awesome. So this is the first time I've gotten to use this. We put it in blue sleeve just so I don't forget it's his. If your opponent activated a monster effect during this turn, set 1 normal spell or trap directly from the deck, except same name. Or if your opponent controls a monster, you can add that to your hand instead. The set card cannot be activated the turn that you activate this. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. So if I had to set the talent, I would not be allowed to flip it, which is why it's better to be able to add it to the hand. So then you could go straight into talent. You could go into Monster Reborn. You could do the +4 off the memories if you needed to. Duster, Storm, Terraforming. As Phil put it once, that's sort of like a 1.5 count in your deck because it's not really 2 of it. But it's 2 of it because you're going to get into it. It's a lot like you running Trap Trick. And last card that we're going to run is just the single copy of Metal Reflect Slime in the main. And again, this is just because this does generate to being a level 10 Aqua. So real quick, guys, here is the main deck. This is 40 cards. Go ahead and either screenshot this or pause and take some notes, and we'll be right back with the extra deck. All right, and the extra deck. Now, before I do this extra deck, I'm gonna mention this one more time. I've got 14 of the 15 cards. Card number 15 is currently in the mail. So unfortunately, it just did not reach us in time for this. But this is the complete extra deck the way I wanted it played. And so the first card we would have would be normally 2 copies of the Egyptian God Slime. And the reason for that is, again, this is either an Aqua plus a level 10, or must either be fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck by tributing 1 level 10 Aqua with 0 attack. Both our Guardian Slime and our Metal Reflect Slime can perform this. And again, if you need some tips on how to play the Reflect Slime, you got to remember that the reactor can be tributed. Pulling the trap card monster out of your deck, setting it, it can be activated that turn. You'll flip it, summon it to the front row, and then tribute it off for this immediately. Which again is just a quick 3,000 point card. So again, we can generate a lot of power real quick, but it has more effects. This card can be treated as either 1 or 3 tributes for the tribute summon of a monster card, meaning that we can go ahead and trade this in or directly for the card he's masquerading as, and we can go ahead and play our Obelisk immediately. Cannot be destroyed by battle, which is good. Opponents' monsters cannot target 4 attacks, and your opponent cannot target with card effects any monsters you control except this one. And just real quick, let's go ahead and take the Obelisk and just do the quick check. As you can see, the stars all match up. That means it's also a level 10. This card will gain protections from our Mound of the Bound creator as well, making him unable to be targeted or destroyed by card effects as well. So kind of puts a hamper on your opponent targeting anything when those cards are played in combination, and which is why we do want to run 2 of this. So just for today, we're going to take a card that I had at random, and we're just going to kind of go ahead and put a blank underneath. This way you guys know that should be 2. Now, going to the Xyz, it's very easy. The first thing we're going to want to do, we're going to play Divine Arsenal Zeus. You're silly if you don't play Zeus here. After the initial summoning, we just need a monster that attacked. It was an Xyz monster. We can go into this. We can start doing effects. It's fine. You'll get this. And then you're going to play gates 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the best number is playing 2 of each, since we have 2 calling. Each of these boys are going to have the same effect. So rather than sitting here and trying to say the names and stuff, let's just go ahead and read one of their effects and then tell you how you're going to do this. So they cannot be destroyed by battle. At the end of the damage step, if they battle an opponent's monster, you'll need to note that. So if these attack directly, this does not double. Only if they battle a monster. You can detach material, which we don't have to do because we will have the network on the field. Then we would double the attack of all Numeron monsters we currently control until the end of this turn. So that means you will have 4 monsters who need to attack. Okay. Normally you'd have to pitch materials. We're not going to be doing that. And then as you go, you will end up like they're all 1,000. This one attacks. Now they're all 2,000. This one attacks. Now they're all 4,000. This one attacks at 4,000. It's probably beating the monster now that you were fighting, which is great because the last one will be at 8,000 when it attacks direct. So again, this is kind of one of your win conditions besides beating face with Obelisk and clearing the board and playing an Egyptian God slime or 2 and just really getting in there with some aggressive attacks. Additionally, during the rest of the turn, let's say that you don't use your Memories of Hope and you don't have my links yet, and you don't want to play into Obelisk. One other play that you can play is Numeron Chaos Gate Sunya. This is number Chaos 1, number C1. You could normally do this by playing, overlaying 4 level 2s, or you can use, you can also Xyz this by using number 1 Gate Echem that you control as material. You'll transfer any materials it would have to this. That will be 0. If this card is Xyz summoned, you get to banish all monsters on the field. This will include itself, as well as its other 3 characters on your side of the field. Once per turn during your next standby phase after this is banished, you may special summon this banished card. Then if Numeron Network is in your field zone, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined attack of all banished Xyz monsters. So this does mean that if you can survive through that, you can go ahead and deal out like another 3k just off the effect while making sure to have a 2k gate still on your side of the field. So again, it could be something to where you do that. We did have 3 spaces left in this deck. So for that, I did fill it with a couple of nightmares. We did a Phoenix and then a Unicorn. Again, I just felt that these were the better 2 options. I don't think Cerberus matters too much, especially when you do want your gates to hit something. We're really still just trying to tank the back row. And one really cool thing is, since these guys are going to discard stuff, this is a good way for you to sink that Obelisk into the discard pile so that you can utilize that quick play spell to bounce him back to the field to go for game damage later. And then, of course, my favorite tech in this is actually Saryuja's Skull Dread. Just real quick, hear me out. You summoned 4 cards, right? 4 cards with different names. Well, that means we unlock every effect this guy has. Okay? We've got it. Now, he won't go back to the extra deck during the end of the turn the way the gates would have. That's only for the Numeron gates. He'll stay. So we get to do all that. We get the extra power up of 300. We get the once per turn to special summon from the hand, which again, we could just drop the Obelisk directly on the field. And there's nothing dirtier than just throwing 4,000 points on the field and going, look, you're going to deal with this now. But we also get to draw 4. And then from our entire hand, not just what we just drew, from the entire hand, select 3 cards to place on the bottom of your deck. Now, if you've done this and you did your memories in the same turn, you've actually performed a draw 8, which is kind of fantastic. It's going to help you autocorrect what you need to do. This is a deck I would probably suggest you guys to play at locals. Like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be okay. You probably won't, like, win, but you might top with something like this. It really depends on the locals' atmosphere. Some places are a little more casual. Some places are a little more competitive. But this is definitely something you guys are going to have fun with. So, again, special thanks to Phil for lending me a card for this. He got lucky. He pulled it during our box opening that we had pre-filmed and we uploaded on, I think it was Tuesday this week. It's been a long week. And so that was awesome. If you guys enjoyed this, do the things, help support the channel, like, comment, sub. Go ahead and just have a wonderful day, guys. Let's just cut it short there, all right? I hope to see you guys next time. Later.